Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? Welcome back for another session. This one is going to be a little bit different in terms of testing. I actually wanted to, see how quickly we can actually defeat Zamasu without killing Rose on this particular Dokkan event that you guys, I'm sure, are pretty much aware. I've seen it a lot of times based on the Kaioken mechanic videos that I've done in the past. I tend to prefer this one because Rose does, or not Rose, but Zamasu has the ability to recover HP, and you can actually keep stacking the attack and defense to, see how high those numbers can actually get to. This one's a little bit similar but different at the same time. I brought in a bunch of units that have the ability to stack attack. In this case, attack is the important part, but I also did bring in two particular units that are going to be extremely helpful in terms of making sure we can KO Zamasu in a quick fashion. So the ones I'm referring to are obviously the EZA Super Saiyan Goku unit that has a high chance to stun enemies, as well as the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, who also has a high chance to stun enemies as well. The only reason as to why those units were brought in is because we want to avoid Zamasu's ability to recover HP in order to speed up the process a little bit. And all the other units like TEQ Vegito Blue, Future Trunks, or Transforming Trunks, and I forgot who else was brought in. Looks like the EZA Kaioken Blue Goku, as well as the Super Saiyan God Goku. All those units have the Kaioken mechanic, essentially the ability to infinitely stack either attack or defense, in some cases both. So, it helps out in terms of a testing standpoint to, test out how quickly we can actually defeat Zamasu. And the other point I wanted to make is the goal here is to basically defeat him before the Dokkan mode gauge fills up. Because I didn't bring any units that had a type disadvantage necessarily against Rose or a weaker unit in general. So the goal is to pretty much deplete all of Zamasu's HP before that Dokkan mode gauge actually fills up. And of course, bringing in the stun units are very important because you don't want him recovering HP. And both of these guys have a high chance of stun, so it's a pretty high likelihood that you'll be able to avoid that the entire time testing this out anyway. So, again, this is one of those fun little experiments I wanted to run. And, I haven't really aggressively tried to deplete his HP. In most cases, it's been more or less prolonging the attack as much as possible or battle as much as possible to stack the attack of or defense of whatever unit that I was testing on whatever videos I did in the past. But in this case, we're basically just aggressively attacking Zamasu and trying to get that HP down. So, of course, like EZA Kaioken Blue Goku that recently got that Extreme Z Awakened has a great chance to increase attack. Vegito Blue, obviously, with all those built-in additionals, along with the ability to raise both the attack and defense, helps out quite a bit because you can, if you get lucky, you can super multiple times with every rotation. The Super Saiyan God Goku is kind of like a makeshift entry, honestly. I thought about including different units, but I just ended up going with that one because in some cases I needed, the unit to link up pretty well with the, especially Kaioken Blue Goku unit. So that's kind of why the unit's in there. Does help to some degree, but not going to be one of the power play hitters, you know what I mean? So a lot of it's going to be Transforming Trunks, Vegito Blue, and Kaioken Blue Goku. Those are going to be pretty much the pivotal pieces in this particular run. And then, of course, the Super Saiyan Goku unit as well as the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta units are going to be very, very important key members of this team because we need that stun to kick in, honestly, every single time, you know what I mean? So the goal here is, one, to defeat him before the HP, not HP, but the Dokkan mode gauge fills up, and then the other goal is obviously to stun Zamasu every time the rotation's up, where it's the unit's no longer being stunned, basically. So, that's kind of like the format with this approach, honestly. And speaking of which, this is, this has all sorts of variations of team building that you can bring in to test this, and in some cases, it might be quicker with compared to this version. The reason why I wanted to use this team is mostly surrounding the fact that I wanted to include units that had the ability to stack attack. That's really the sole reason as to why I brought in this team. Even with, you know, one full cycle before the Dokkan mode gauge fills up, I was actually interested, you know, if you're aggressively attacking, how much of an increase in stats you can actually get toward attack, you know, based on, you know, the certain criteria or limitation or restriction in this particular run. So yeah, it was definitely one thing that was pretty interesting. And looking back on it in hindsight, things are working pretty well. I did make sure to keep the Super Saiyan Goku in one rotation, links up pretty well with the Transforming Trunks, and then have Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta linked up with the TEQ Vegito Blue, simply from a key standpoint, like key link standpoint, because those two units do have over in the Flash, that's +3 key if I remember correctly, and that does help out a lot, making sure both units do have the ability to get the super attacks every time. So getting those supers out is very important because, you know, first of all, you want to stack as much as possible, and second, the stunning units, you want to make sure they have the ability to stun. You know, that's very important in this setting. So looks like I mean, we're already at pretty much 50% HP at this point, and yeah, I mean, it's just one of those, you know, I don't know, just random tests that, you know, I just kind of came up with. I wanted to, you know, switch things up a little bit and test out something a little bit unique. I mean, you guys know and seen on my videos in the past that you can defeat Zamasu. The question I had for this one is how quickly can we actually do that? And again, you could bring in different units that are much more powerful, and maybe that'll speed up the process a little bit. But in this case, I wanted to bring in units that had the ability to, you know, raise attack and see how quickly they would stack up, and then also just see if we can actually defeat them before the Dokkan mode gauge actually fills up. So that was pretty much, you know, that's pretty much the goal. It's a simple test, but it's I don't know, I thought it was interesting. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it, but if not, I guess let me know, I guess, in the comments. But you know, hopefully you guys are in fact enjoying the content. You know, I try to switch things up every now and then. I've actually got another one. I haven't done the editing or anything yet, but it's one of those unique type of content you don't normally see. So, you know, hopefully that'll be coming soon as well. I think really the MVP out of this group is TEQ Vegito Blue. Obviously, with the ability for multiple super attacks per rotation. The AGL Kaioken Blue Goku unit is also very good. I mean, you can deal quite a bit in damage as well. So luckily, Zamasu is still stunned here, so he's not going to recover HP. So it really does come down to the dependency of the guy being stunned. I mean, otherwise, it's going to prolong the battle even more, and the HP is going to be a lot more difficult to get down. So again, that's why I brought in Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and the Super Saiyan Goku unit. They have a high chance of stun, so that's really where that comes from. So where are we at? Looks like, yeah, I mean, looks to be about maybe 10% left, so it's actually surprisingly achievable, I think, you know, with the right approach, right teams, and right setups. I mean, it's definitely pretty much a requirement to bring in at least, I would say, at least 2 units that stun, or at least have a high chance of stun. I think that's pretty important. Just have one in each rotation, so whenever the stun status effect is no longer active, you have the ability to go ahead and do that. And honestly, it's going to help as well when Zamasu is not the first one attacking in the rotation. Like, I was actually pretty lucky with that, because in some cases, you know, he could be in the very first attacking position and have that HP recovery function active, you know. So in that case, you know, it would pretty much require a reset, but luckily that's not the case here. I think within the next rotation, we should be good to go here. And I purposely left out Transforming Trunks to attack there because I was worried about the gauge filling up too much to where potentially it was going to be a Dokkan mode attack. So it looks like right here we got extremely lucky, right? I think one more key sphere obtained in that Dokkan mode would have activated, honestly. So got extremely lucky there. So I think we should be able to finish him off right here. Let's see. Yeah, that'll do it right here, I'm pretty sure. Oh, a little bit left over, but I think Vegeta's got it. Oh yeah, all right, he's done for. So yeah, I mean, it didn't take that long, honestly, roughly about 10 minutes to get to that point. So I think with that being said, of course, you know, with different team variations and setups, it could actually be quicker than this, honestly, but yeah, it was definitely a lot more achievable than I imagined it to be. I think a lot of it does come down to the fact that did bring in at least 2 units that I had a high chance or high probability stun. I think that really did help out tremendously and made a difference, probably. The units that do stack attack based on every super attack, that does also build up to a certain degree. I don't know if it made like a ridiculous impact. I think in TEQ Vegito Blue's case, it certainly did because of the frequency of potentially additional supers based on the setup of, you know, the unit's skill sets. But yeah, outside of that, yeah, it was relatively quick, I think. You know, 10 minutes was honestly a lot less than I thought it would be. And luckily, you know, it all worked out with the Dokkan mode gauge not activating up until now. So, you know, honestly, that would have defeated the whole purpose. Technically, Zamasu would have died, but Rose would have also died too. So you wouldn't have that visibility of one being KO'd and Rose still surviving. So that was really one of the goals I wanted to see. I wanted to see that KO mark on Zamasu and not Rose. It's actually, you know, kind of cool to see it that way because you don't typically see that sort of, I don't know, setting, I guess, so to speak. So yeah, we'll go ahead and finish it off here and just get that TEQ Vegito Blue attack. It'll probably be a one-shot because of how much the attack has stacked up, and yeah, that'll be pretty much the deal with that. 3.2 million attack stats, so it definitely does build up quite a bit over even a course of a little amount. So yeah, there we go. Pretty much you can KO Zamasu in about 10 minutes roughly with the right teams and setups. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video as always, and I do appreciate you checking it out. So definitely stay tuned. I got some more content coming up, and hopefully I can get that up soon. All right, peace out.